We're back here again. We're gonna go to Africa. We're gonna hear Pro Lumumba. He's gonna speak about the difference between young white, Chinese, Asian, and black. If you see the continent of the Asia, the Chinese they stick with the Chinese. Even if you see them, they far away so from their country. But trust me, they know the root of their culture. They know where they came from. They know they don't hate themselves. They just ask the black people. I see that it's like a pattern. It's like a pattern that we really like to trying to push this narrative. I cannot be associated with people of the African. And I think that's a mistake because as African, we a lot of black people that they've been in Europe and for decade, generation, and those that in American is all black American, and especially those that they call themselves foundation black Americans. All no matter if you see yourself indigenous of American or you see yourself, you an America, you're not black, you're not African, that's okay. But just know that we are the people that looks like you. You can try to push the narrative you're not, but people that they hate me as an African, they do hate you too. So it doesn't matter how you think or feel, because when somebody is looking down on me as a black person, even you black foundation American, because this is the narrative I'm seeing from us African. Even you black America, if you don't see yourself as African, try to understand Africa, invest in Africa, work with the African, try to teach them. If you think you're smarter than us African, try to give us a lesson. Because I see the same thing. The way the W people they see us, the people that they hate us, the way they see us, I see it the way they see you as well. They don't like me African. The people that they hate me African, that they don't look like me, I see they hate you as well. So what is the difference? Why? Because we don't speak the same language, because I have a rubbish language, or because my country is so dirty and your country is what? Perfect? Man, let's not think like that. But you know what? Before I speak even more, let's just listen to Pierre Lumumba, what he's gonna say here, and we're gonna see. Let's go.
And as if there was a conspiracy to have me see what was happening. This is what happened. A group of young Asians came in. One of them I knew, and they greeted. Sitting next to him was a Caucasian. I do not know from which country. And their conversation was about business environment in Kenya. They said that in the year 2024, the elder one, they made a profit of 36 million United States dollars, and in the year 2025, 31. I think it was an attempt to persuade the Caucasian who apparently wanted to either buy or have an interest in the company to be president. They walked away. A young Chinese came in. I'd met him before. I'd met him in a place called Lodwar, which is 700 kilometers away from Nairobi. But I asked him, what are you doing now? He said, now I am actually in the renewable energy space. And I'll be traveling again to Lodwar and to the neighboring district. He has been in Kenya for about 7 years. He's about 35. So he came to Kenya when he was in his late 20s. As he moved to sit next, a group of young Africans came. The three of them had things, rings in all their fingers, and they wore shorts with pockets almost everywhere. And I heard them discuss how they were waiting for tenders in counties. But after that,
pay attention what he's gonna say here about the black people, black young men that they came in over there. Pay attention.
They were talking about which football team in England would win the league. One of them said Arsenal, another one Manchester United, and they went on and walked away. He taught me two things. The reason why Africa does not realize our potential was we never focused on it. An Indian was talking about a company that makes profit in the millions. A Chinese was talking about renewable energy. Young Africans were talking about football in England. And what I'm saying is not right. Today, if I ask any one of you here who have come here to listen to sports and diplomacy, how many of you know the leading football team in Zambia? How many of you know the leading football team in Ethiopia? The Ethiopians don't tell. How many of you know the leading football teams in Uganda? The Ugandan, but yet most of you here can tell me which team beat which one. In Spain yesterday, and in England yesterday, and in Netherlands yesterday, and which sprinter is the best sprinter in the United States of America, and which basketball player is paid how much. You will tell me. But if I ask you to name for me 10 players from Senegal who featured in AFCON in Morocco, you will not tell me. None of you have ever heard of one of the greatest football teams in Africa, Afia Guinea de Conakry, which dominated the football charts in the 80s. That is the problem of Africa. And I'm suggesting to you who are present here, and I've just read this in a message sent to me by a friend of mine, is to be found in the Hindu Bhagavad Gita, that he or she who conquers his mind as a great friend, and he or she who does not conquer his mind as a great enemy. All things must start here. Even the sports and the diplomacy that we are talking about only happens if we use it for that purpose. If you read history, because this is recorded, therefore it can be a point of reference that you can look.
As we heard Pierre Lumumba, he spoke over there. Lumumba said, can you see? He said what? You heard that. There's Asian that they came in, and there was a white young man over there as well. They're in the party. They're talking about business, how much they made. And they were trying to convince the other white person to join in. Can you see? The Asian man, he been in Kenya for 7 years. He been in Kenya for 7 years. And he made million already. He's talking about business to him. Can you see? My issue is this. They hate us. That's not a joke. Asian, white, but especially the Asian that you see, the Indian or the Chinese, they hate us black people, period. There's no joke on that. They really don't like us, but can you see, they're going to invest it. They're making business money in the continent of the African. But I cannot make money in the continent of the Chinese, the Asian over there. I can't, because the abusement that they're gonna give me. But can you see the mindset of us African? Them two young black men that they're walking with rings in their finger, they're wearing baggy clothes, they're wearing so much. They're talking about the European, the United Kingdom, the football. They're talking about football in the United Kingdom. They're in Africa. They're talking about football in European. Their mind. We don't want to invest in nothing in Africa, but our mind, because we are so focused in European, in America. We have these absurd things that our mind is really far away in Europe, and we're not even in Africa. We're African, but we're not in Africa, because our mind is like, let me get away from Africa so I can just think about all the things that is happening in Europe. And we know all things concern football in Europe, but look at this. Lumumba said, if I ask you, guy, how many of you know anything about football here in Kenya or Mozambique or whatever country in Africa? None of us will have ID. We have no clue at all. The problem with us African, we don't invest in Africa. We don't know nothing. We don't even pay attention to a lot of things in Africa, but we pay a lot of attention to the European, to the America. We want to know who's the best basketball, who's the greatest movie, Who's the great movie star? What movie star is the best? In Europe and or in America, we pay more attention on this. But when it comes to Africa, you got the Chinese, they investing in the building. They're going over there, they're making money. Not just, 5 grand. No, they're making million. But we're making, as African, we're making 0. Because our mind is so weak when it comes to anything to do with business, to invest in ourselves. That's why you can see we keep repeating the same thing our parents they did. We keep doing it over and over. Our parents they did not invest in the country. We are doing the same thing. Children they're gonna be doing the same thing. Young black men and female they will be doing the same thing because they don't like to associate themselves in anything to do with Africa. Issue we've been having for decades. We have a weak mind. Our mind is, let me not pay attention to anything concern Africa, but let me pay attention to what is in America or in Europe, and that's what we do. We will struggle in silence, but what people that they hate us, they're making tons of money in Africa, in the country that we belong, and they hate us in their country. We rather suffer in silence, abusement in their country. But when they come to our country, they're making tons of money and we are silent. How can we help ourselves if you have black dividing? You have even a black America, they talk about African, we hate them. African, we hate them. I will talk about this, but not today. But I want us to think completely. Who is dividing us? Why do we hate ourselves so much? We have those people that already hate us, and we hate ourselves more. We already have people that hate us, and we hate ourselves. Can you see the problem we're having? To the black, us black people. It doesn't matter you're African, you see yourself foundation black, it doesn't matter. But we hate each other more. People that they don't look like us, they making more in our country. But when we go to their country, we don't make like they're making in our country. You go to their country, see the abusement you're gonna receive. But when they come to your country, they don't get no abusement. They make millions. Used to dying poor, confused, ignorant, and fool. That's how we die. Because African is for us, but it is full of dead bodies. Cemetery for black people, black African. Not for the Chinese, not for the Indian, not for the white man, but for black. We born, die, dead, poor, misery, in every way possible. Because we hate to see ourselves succeed. We don't like to, associate with the people that looks like us so we can succeed. Because we have such a hate for one another, but we don't push the energy. The energy I want to, strangle my brother, but we don't push it to people that they don't look like us. And that's the problem we have. Education is important. Not just education for studying, but education at home to understand who you are, why you like the way you are, why. Ask yourself the reason why we don't like each other. We need to start thinking and asking ourselves this kind of thing. But you know what? This was just my opinion. It was just for education purpose. I would really wish you can subscribe, like, even if you can drop a comment. I don't mind. I wish I'll catch y'all to the next one. Peace.